Yay. Hey, Ryan. Welcome to Real Talk with Sadie. I'm so excited that you're here. So, thank you for coming. How are you?
Yeah, thanks so much, Sadie. I am excited to be here. I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
Consider, yeah.
we survived the rain. I was like actually really paranoid with the rain. I bought a flashlight and a lantern just like a couple days ago, and it wasn't even that bad where we were. How about in Silver? Or, yeah, in LA?
Yeah, that I mean, those things are good to have, of course. It was pretty bad here on
Oh,
the east
God.
side of
Yeah.
LA, so but it was nothing compared to like an East Coast storm, honestly.
Oh, I don't know anything about the East Coast. Where were
Yeah.
you born and raised then?
I'm from Long Island, New York.
Oh, that's so badass. Wow, the East Coast. How long did you live there for?
I left when I was 18 and moved to San
Okay.
Francisco, and then I moved back to the East Coast for like less than a year and then moved to LA.
Oh, okay. What's
Yeah.
your favorite thing about the East Coast, and what's your favorite thing about like the West Coast, LA? Is there a big difference?
There's definitely a big difference. I mean, just in the way that people communicate and talk, really. Like,
Yeah.
um, the East Coast is very like matter of fact, in your face, like say it how it is. There's no like holding back anything. Like people are just really like honest and bold about the
Oh,
way they speak. And I think here on the West Coast, people are more polite. Uh,
I get that too. And your music, you're pretty bold and like with your lyrics, and you're not afraid to like speak up what's on your mind. I think that's really, really admirable.
thank
Maybe that's
you.
your Long Island, and yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
That's cool. But what did you want to be when you grew up?
Like when I was a super little kid, I wanted to be an artist, and I thought that would be like painting or something like that. Like I thought
Oh,
it would be like a physical art form. And then
yeah.
when I was 6 years old, I started playing guitar, and
Oh,
at
cool.
12 years old, my guitar teacher asked me, "Is this your hobby or is it your passion?" And no one had ever asked me that before, and I had never considered it. I mean, I was 12 years old, and after he asked that question, I was like, this is like what I want to do. So since then, I knew, yeah.
Being so young too, that's such like a it's almost like a privilege. Hell, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I kid you not, my mom, when I was like 3 years old, I said I wanted to be a worm collector. Just
Oh
like
my god,
years, I know.
that's cute.
I graduated in college with business. So for you at like 6 year
Cool.
old to like 12 to know what you wanted to be like a musician, that is so so cool. Yeah, man, I wish I had that mindset actually. Um, so do you come from a musical background since you started guitars at such a young age?
My brother was doing musical theater stuff and sang and played like a little bit of guitar and piano, but not much. And then my mom can sing, but she never did professionally. Oh, besides like when she's done some like background vocals on some of my records.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty cool.
not a musical family really. I mean, a music loving family. Like we
Yeah.
really grew up, everything was centered around music and going to concerts at like Jones Beach and Madison Square Garden. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. So you're around it all the time. That makes sense.
def-
Um, did you pick guitar then as a 6-year-old? Because I actually learned how to play piano around the same age, but unfortunately I didn't follow through.
yeah, I picked guitar. My brother was playing it and stopped playing it, and I was just like, I want to play that.
Yeah. Oh my god. You're so young, and this is so so naive to me, but, are guitars, like, smaller for kids? Or like, was there a kid-sized guitar for you? I'm just trying to imagine a 6-year-old playing,
Yeah.
honestly. Cool.
So I couldn't play my brother's guitar because it was so big. So
Yeah.
the guitar teacher built a little guitar for me because I was like a really, really small kid.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
instead of getting like a cheap like toy guitar that isn't good to learn on, the guitar teacher built me one that was small but like professional enough that I could actually learn on it.
no way. What a
Yeah,
so
so
lucky to have. Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. Alright, Ryan, if you could describe yourself in 3 words, this is your time to be like, don't be humble. Like, 3 words to describe yourself, what would it be?
Um, I would say I'm resilient. I'm
Mm.
very shy.
Aw.
Um, and a third word. I would say like I'm a community builder. Like that's probably the
Mm.
biggest thing about me is that like everything that I do in my life, the purpose has been to build community and to make people feel less alone. So that's
Yeah.
like my passion.
Oh, and you've done so much at such a young age too. Proud of you for doing that. And
Thank
even though
you.
you said you're shy, I think that's okay too. Sometimes I like that you put that describe yourself as shy. Some people think it's like a negative thing, but it can also be such a powerful thing. And sometimes the quietest people in the room have like the most to say. And when you do speak, it's powerful. So
Thank you. Yeah, a
you
lot of people like
you
my
know
whole life shyness has been a problem and people have been like, "Ryan's rude. He doesn't talk to me." And I'm like, "I don't
rude.
talk to anyone." Like so like someone talks to me because I'm like I can't go up to people really and start a conversation. So
Okay, they have to come up to you. Exactly like how I came up to you at the event, right? But
yeah,
once I
yeah.
meet you, you're so nice. Okay,
Thank
very
you.
cool. You're welcome. Um, so you started playing guitar at 6. So when did you learn that you could sing? You're a phenomenal singer, hello. Like,
Thank
did
you.
you just yeah, tell me about that from playing guitar at 6 and then learning to sing. Was there lessons too?
Um, I took a few singing lessons when I was a teenager. But like with guitar and singing, it wasn't natural. Like the only thing that has ever come naturally to me is writing songs. I started writing songs when I was 12 and
Wow.
it was very normal for me. Like, I would just get home from school and write songs and
No
it
way.
wasn't weird to me. Like it was just something I did and like I thought everyone kind of like just did that in
No
private,
way. That's such an
But
art form, like poetry. Did you do poetry too? Because it's like a cathartic.
yeah, poetry, all different types of art really. But like my it was at my like music camp where my counselors were just like camp counselors like you like can write really good songs, but you can't play guitar and you can't sing. Like you need to like work on this. And I was like
Weird.
15.
Uh-huh.
Um, so they basically like put me through this like boot camp of lessons for like a month, and I was just like really determined and would wake up at 6 a.m. and practice and like stay up till like midnight or 1 in the morning
Wow.
practicing and just practice until
Yeah.
like I was able to like hold it down at a show. So
Oh my god, that is so incredible and such a you have to really be patient with yourself. And
definitely.
so when you it's weird, I'm going back to, like, what you mentioned as being shy and, like, obviously performing, that takes a lot because I don't think I could do what you do. Do you kinda become, like, a different person? Is it like a switch and you feel, like, the most comfortable when you're up on a stage? I'm so interested in that.
Definitely. When I perform, it depends on the crowd size. Like if I'm playing to like 5 people in some
Mhm.
random city, like I feel really shy on stage. And
Yeah.
but once people start interacting, like I hear them like laughing at some of my weird jokes or they're singing along, I
Mhm.
immediately feel connected and like that switch gets flipped. So my
Oh,
best
yeah.
shows are because of the best audiences. Like when the
True.
audience shows up for me, I show up more for them. Like when I see them resonating or singing along, or even if there's just like one kid that I meet before the show and is like so stoked to be there and is like, I want to hear this song. Like,
Yeah.
I'll play this song and it just like it sets me on fire and I could play a
Mm.
good show.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good feeling. I bet you get, like, an adrenaline rush from it too.
Definitely.
Feels
Like
so I
one
gotta
person
see a
would be
show,
ridiculous.
like, in a venue or something, because there's so many in LA. I wanna feel that
Yeah,
energy. Oh, it'd be so much fun. That's awesome.
definitely.
Um, do you have any, like, music influences? Like, when you started to, write songs, did you listen to certain artists growing up? Like, who's, like, shaped your style kind of?
Yeah, I was really raised on classic rock.
Ooh,
My
okay.
like listened to a lot of like Bruce Springsteen and Led Zeppelin, Billy Joel, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
So all of that I just like grew up listening to all the time. And then by the time I was like a teenager, I was listening to a lot of like early punk rock.
Mhm.
And things have expanded and shifted since. Like I listen to like so many different genres now that
Yeah.
don't really like go
You have
together.
some
But
country. I think one of your biggest songs is more like folky vibes or more country vibes,
yeah.
which is really cool, and you don't have to, like, put yourself in a bubble. God, no, don't ever do that, but, ooh, excuse me, that's really cool. So if people were just happened to, like, show up at an event and they had no idea who the hell Ryan Cassata is, like, what would you describe your music as? And, like, what kind of music do you do?
I think there's a little something for everyone.
Yeah.
When I play with my full band, it leans more punk rock right now with
Mhm.
elements of pop, hip hop, and folk. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like it really, it switches show to show. I try to meet the crowd where they're at too. Like if I'm playing at, Melrose Trading Post, like
So
they want more cover songs and more of a
yeah.
full set, so
True, and
um,
that's, like, the vibe there. I see, and that's cool that you listen to your audience too, just depending on the feeling is. Yeah, because you have a lot of music, which is seriously so impressive as
thank
well. Yeah, you're welcome. Um, and I know, like, going on your Instagram, you did write, like, I write protest songs, and your music really does, do that. It is so powerful, Ryan, and beautiful, and we can kind of talk about that when, we get into some of your songs because,
you.
oh my god, they're emotional.
Thank
But,
you.
okay, can you remember the very first song you wrote and how old you were?
Yeah, the first song I wrote is called "Wonderful Beautiful," and it is on the internet under Ryan Cassata Music, so it's not on my
Oh,
Spotify page, but you can find it. I
okay,
was
cool. Oh, that's exciting because sometimes it's way in the trash. No one wants to like, they're so
yeah,
shy, no one wants to
I
get it.
sound like a baby on it. I was 12 years old with this little tiny voice. I played piano on it, and I wrote the song on piano, and my mom had come home from work, and I was playing the song, and she was like, "Whose song is that? Is that an Aerosmith cover or something like that?"
Whoa.
And I was like, she's like, "Who wrote that?" And I said, "I did." And she said, "No way." And she
My
just like she couldn't believe it, like that I wrote a song. And like to me, it was just like I wrote a song, that's normal. Like
You were saying, "Hey, I think a lot of people go home and write songs after school." Like, "What? Oh my
yeah,
god, good for you." Did
thank
you,
you.
because 'cause you're 30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a 90s ba I was born in '96. So, what the heck did you edit on back then? Was it old laptop or, like I used to use iMovie or GarageBand, like my grandpa's stuff to make, like, funny music videos.
Yeah, this was even before being able to access any of that. So all of
Wow,
my demos I would record on tape on a cassette.
wow.
Yeah.
That
So
is
there's
so
no
cool.
editing. There's yeah, no
Just raw,
edit. It's
authentic
like I
Ryan.
had to play the song right and and play it until I got it right to have a good recording of it.
Sure. Oh, that's so cool, and do you have a lot of music too that's unreleased? Just, like, your own like
Definitely like hundreds and hundreds of songs like that maybe one day I'll get to and maybe one day I won't, but
yeah,
the best ones will come out.
sure, that's true, and I feel like sometimes it's just, like, a cathartic way to, you know, let out your feelings and emotions, and it can just be a private space for you, like, whatever
Def
you want to do, you know? Uh,
yeah.
and then I wanted to get into, like, just a couple of your albums or and singles, and then just talk about, like, general music questions, but,
Cool.
um your very first album, was it The Rhythm? Is that true?
So the first album that I released under Ryan Cassata is
Mhm.
The Rhythm, but before The
Okay.
Rhythm, I had recorded an album that I released under Ryan Cassata Music, and that
Oh,
album is called The Theme of Humankind, which is still on the internet as well.
very
Um,
cool. Oh, you the
that
growth is
record's really, like, raw, like, it's not really produced, it's just, like, the songs as I wrote them and played them. There's no auto-tune or editing, like, the band recorded to tape, like, it's as real as it gets.
Oh, I gotta listen to that. I don't think I've listened to that, but no, I did listen to The Rhythm and then obviously your most recent, album, Magic Miracle Mile. Um, Are you so proud of yourself, like, going from the rhythm to Magic Miracle Mile, like, the growth? What have you noticed, like, the biggest thing in your music career?
Yeah, I think, like, maturity with the lyrics has happened over time, just, like, from starting as a kid and now being an adult,
Yeah.
and it's happening more and more as time passes,
Mhm.
and, I mean, I the records when I was a kid, like oh, how
Oh,
do I
you're fine.
oh, wait, this
The
stopped.
cookies are ready. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No, you're
Um,
good.
the the my early records, there was no rules. I didn't know any rules yet. I didn't know rules
That's
of
true.
genres. I didn't
Oh.
care if I switched keys or tempos. There was no, like, format, so there's, like, this free feeling on those records that, like, I was able to just play exactly what I was feeling, and now
Yeah.
I do feel a little more boxed in, and I like, part of it now is, like, trying to get out of that box and just do what feels, like, natural to me, and
Mhm.
part of it is, like, fighting that, like, system of what is and what people the industry standards and stuff.
Oh my god, it is so true, and thanks for being vulnerable with that. That's, like, an honest answer. But no, I loved the rhythm, and you said the album was released in 2012, um, and my favorite song on it is, like, the rhythm, and I think you performed that at the Melrose Trading Post, and oh my
Yeah,
god, your vocals on that is incredible, and, it's, like, just very powerful. What is that
thanks.
song about?
Oh, the song was about I mean, it's about a lot of things, but mostly it's about being on the road and being away from home and
Is there
loving
yeah,
being getting to play these shows, and at that point in my life, I was doing a lot of speaking engagements, and I
okay.
was in high school myself and then just
Wait, you won?
graduated. Yeah, so I was going my school would actually let me they wouldn't mark me absent if I was going to another school and speaking at their school to educate them about topics. So
No
I would
kidding.
yeah, and there was, like, one time where I it was after I graduated, I spent, like, an entire month in New Jersey just going to, like, as many schools there as I could. So that's what that song's really about is just, like, being on this journey of and I would play music at every single speech too. So
Oh,
it's
no
part of the
way.
way that I would just, like, get people to it was like a way of humanizing the trans experience, like, here's this
Oh,
thing that everyone loves, music, right? And I would
yeah,
bring that as, like, this is who I am, like, I play songs, I write songs, and I'm also trans and then share
right.
on that, and people would listen to me, and especially being the same age, like, I was 17
Oh,
I was
you're pretty
13,
young.
17, like, talking to that age, so I was their peer, so they would really listen to me, and, um, some kids would say mean things, but I got them to really come around to the point where, like, football teams of different schools would talk to me after and
Wow.
get more info and were just wanting to be better, So
Oh,
it
Brian,
it was a different time.
what that is so impactful and such a privilege at such a young age to speak about, trans visibility, and gosh, I think even that's over 10 years ago, which is so wild to think. Can you believe it's 2024 now?
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
and how did you end up getting involved in actually, like, going around and speaking at schools? Like, did you go to schools directly and contact them? It's like, "Hey, I wanna make a difference in the world, and, there's obviously people like me who need a voice and, probably feel isolated, and you're there." Yeah, how did you get started with that? It's incredible.
Yeah, it all really started I was getting bullied really bad in middle school, when I
Mm,
first came out, and, um,
mhm.
it only got worse, like, in high school, but when
Yeah.
I in middle school, like, I was being bullied so bad, I was just at a point like, a breaking point mentally, like, it was really bad, so
Yeah.
I went to the school counselor, try to get help, um, and she told me about the LGBT center on Long Island. So this whole
This
island, which is
is
like 3 hours to drive. This LGBT center happens to be in walking distance of my childhood home.
it gives me goosebumps. What the and
And I went there immediately, and I was there 5 days a week after school, and I
mm,
joined, the Safe Schools team, and they would train us on how to speak publicly and how to just articulate things and get the message across, and they would educate us on, like, LGBT history and all these things. So, when I first started, I was 13, I was speaking with this team, and we would go to conventions, and a couple years of that, by the time I was 15, like, after I would speak at the convention, I was getting calls to go speak at this college when I'm
wow.
in high school, you know,
You're
without
literally a teen. Oh,
yeah, like,
did
they
you
just
feel
wanted me.
oh,
Um,
man,
and I had never written down my speech or anything. I just
kinda
would
from the
talk
heart?
about my experience, tell my story.
God,
Um,
good for you. And you
I
know, it's
think
crazy. I guess I'm not gonna fast forward, but like, look, you were just at the White House not too long ago, speaking on, trans visibility and trans rights. And gosh, what a amazing experience. I can't wait to get into that as well. You're a musician, but you're also an advocate, and I think that's so beautiful. Oh, Ryan, thank you for sharing that story. That it's really
yeah, of
awesome.
course.
And then I wanted to mention on the album, The Rhythm, you have the song Hands of Hate. Holy crap. Like that is one of the most powerful, emotional. I said raw. Um, and it's like a remembrance of many people of the LGBT community whose lives were taken away like way, way too young. And thank you for educating me on these people because I truly am naive and I didn't recognize these names. And heck, I used to live in Ventura County and like literally Oxnard. And it makes me sad that there is some hate there. But how did you write Hands of Hate? Because that's really powerful, Ryan. So thank you for using your voice for that.
Yeah, so, I was I was in 8th grade when, the first vigil that I had ever went to was of
Mm,
an 8th grade boy, uh, Lawrence King, and he was gunned down by a classmate for being gay. Maybe he was trans, but I remember being at that vigil and being like, "I'm in 8th grade," you know? And, like, it still makes me emotional
yeah,
now to think
seriously.
about, but, like, in I'm an 8th grader, I see this 8th grader get gunned down for being who they are, right? And then I'm like, that could have been me. It could have been any of us here at this LGBT center,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
and
Mm,
that impacted me. It showed me, like, like any teenage, like, invincibility complex that I had was now gone. Like, I was like, I
yeah.
could get killed. Like, I
Yeah.
knew it. Um, and I mean, I went to, like, a kind of rough school and stuff, like, in a
Mhm.
rough neighborhood and all that, and, so I was afraid, and, I now, like, time is passing, and I'm seeing more people in our community getting killed, and they're young, like all these people. And of
Really
course,
young.
like, we all know the Matthew Shepard story, and Brandon
Mhm.
Tina is another story that I heard so much of, a trans boy that was murdered.
Yeah.
um and it just, all those things impacted me so much, and still do, and for so many years, and which built up to me writing that song when I was 17 when I wrote it. And um I researched a lot about their stories before I wrote it, and
Right.
got all the info, and wrote it in a couple hours, probably less. And I showed it to my mom, and she was just like, "This is your best song." And at that
Yeah.
time it was, like, it definitely was. And it was definitely my first song that had popularity to it. And this is, like, before Spotify
Mm,
was even a thing, but on
mhm.
YouTube, like, it did really well, and it sold a lot on iTunes. And um it it helped me reach more people, and it helped me go to more schools and talk, and I would play the song at
Sure.
schools, and it would change people's perspective. you
It
know?
changed my perspective. It's just really powerful, and I wanted to quote some of the lyrics that you said, like, "Can we join together and learn not to hate? And we join together in the arms of faith. Can we join together and be one human race?" Like, I wish we can do that now, and God, as you know, the news and what's going on in the world right now, it just seems like it's a never-ending battle, but
Mhm.
there's good people in the world like yourself, and there's communities for us, and we can make small differences, I think. So with your music, I think that's some way of joining together in some small way. You know what I'm trying to say? Ah, it can be hard, but
Yeah.
oh my God, congrats on that song. That's really powerful, and you're very young, and that takes kind of vulnerability too to write that. I think.
Definitely. I definitely felt, like, overcome with emotions when I
Yeah,
wrote it, and there's been a few songs where, like, I write the song and then I play it and I'm like, "Oh my god," and I'm, like, crying, you know? Like, "Hold
yeah,
On You Belong" is another song like that where I wrote
mm,
it about all the anti-trans legislation and then realized, like, this is, like, really affecting my mental health, like,
yeah.
everything that's going on against the trans community, like, this affects me too.
Of course. Um, and to use your platform, it's just I think it helps a lot of people. And when you're talking about performance and like your audience, I'm sure you have so many people part of the LGBT community. And do you have people coming up to you and saying, "Hey, thanks for being like such an inspiration"? Like you've probably touched so many people, huh?
Mm. Yeah, a lot, and it's very,
That's cool. Yeah, is
humbling.
that overwhelming sometimes? Like,
It's definitely overwhelming, and it just reminds me of, like, why I'm here 'cause, you
yeah,
know, I have bad days too. I'm human and,
of course.
uh, sometimes I'm like, "Why am I doing this? Like, why am I putting all this energy and effort into this thing that doesn't really pay much money at all?" Like,
Mhm.
you know, like, why am I like
No.
a broke artist? And it's like because, like, I have to be because, like, I don't like, I could go to school. I skipped 11th grade and I skipped 3 years of college. Like, I'm smart enough to go be a lawyer, do some job that makes, like, a lot of money, but, like, I don't care about making a lot of money. Like, I wanna help these young trans kids make it through the year, you know? Like, that's it. Like, just make it through the
Oh,
school year and get to
yeah,
be adults one day. Like,
that
that
is
shit matters
beautiful.
more to me than any amount of money.
Oh, yeah, Ryan, thank you for sharing that. I wanna talk about 2 of your biggest songs, like, that I see on Spotify, and obviously you know them, "Daughter" and "Gender Binary." Fuck yeah, which I fucking love. But let's
Yeah.
talk about, like, "Daughter," and that was released in 2018. And I personally said, and you can correct me, I just said, like, it's an ode to, like, your true authentic self, and I would like for you to explain that song, but I bet that's touched a lot of people too. So tell me about Daughter. It's a really great song, Ryan.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, Daughter is a song that it came to me quickly, like, it took no more than 10 minutes to write it, and when
Wow.
I wrote it, I wasn't planning on writing a song that day, I wasn't planning on writing a song about my dad, I wasn't even thinking about my dad at all,
Mm,
but I guess subconsciously I was, and I wrote that song, and it just happened so quick, started with that guitar riff, and I
mm,
wrote the verses and it it you know, it was locked in and I it was so deeply personal to me and my dad that I thought that this would be a song that I would just save for me and him and not show anyone. Um,
right.
yeah, and I showed a few trans people and they were like, "Dude, the world needs to hear this." And then there
Yes,
was other
it's
people
so
that
I
were
bet
like,
it's so relatable to many
"Yeah."
people.
And
Um,
some other trans guys were like, "This song is wrong, dude." Like, saying you're still your dad's little girl, and I was like, but it's not about that." Like, my dad calls me his son. He says he, him. He calls me Ryan for,
mhm.
10 years at this point, and but at that point that I wrote the song and, like, it's like I'm just saying that I'm the same child that I've always been. I'm still your
Right,
child, and that's what I'm saying. So some people did
exactly. And I
misunderstand.
got that right away, and
Yeah.
oh, I think that's beautiful, and I like that. I'm still
And,
your
you know,
little
we
girl.
sing
That's
on
what you basically
Discord.
say.
Yeah.
You're just grown up and you found your true authentic self. You're Ryan.
Mhm.
I like that. And then you have gender binary. And I love the lyrics, like break all the stereotypes you set up for me, because we were just talking about like how I think people love to put us in a box, and you're just talking about like your most like your music career right now. Like sometimes like you're in a box and we need to like get away from that, like break all the stereotypes. So when did you write gender binary?
I wrote that, I think about 10 years ago. I was still living
Wow,
in San
very
Francisco.
young. Very.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it took me a long time to release it. But I did release like an acoustic version the day I wrote it, which got like 1 million streams in a couple months. So it went viral, and then started working on like a production version of
Wow.
it. But it was really just like an FU to like
It really is an
system,
anthem, kind
you
of.
know?
It's an anthem. Is that such a fun one to perform? Like,
It's super fun. We hate rehearsing it because we're like bored of it, but then when we play it at show live, it's just so fun. Everyone sings, and
yeah.
it's so fun for crowd participation.
Oh, for sure. I was thinking, Ryan, do you have any songs that maybe not a lot of your audience and your fans know, but like you really love? Like you have so much music. Is there anything that you would like to that's you'd like to get seen more?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Magic Miracle Mile album, and the song
Mhm.
Magic Miracle Mile, like I feel like it's just it's some of my best work. Like I just it's my first time producing on that record and recording
Because
everything
yeah.
myself,
Mhm.
and just like following my vision all the way through and not letting other people like control it at all whatsoever. But the songwriting on that is it's just different than other stuff I've done. So I would love for people to dive in more and to that record specifically. And um I mean, I would love to for people to listen to all of my records.
Yeah.
But I have
It's
so many songs now. It's like probably most people never heard all my songs that are my like fans of my music.
uh-huh. It's
So,
true. You have a lot of music, but it's so well done. I love Magical Miracle Mile. Your voice is so beautiful. I put like the beat is so mesmerizing. It's like a unique beat that I feel
thank
like
you.
that's so different from your other ones. God, it's so good, and the lyrics are just really sentimental. Was that one of the first songs you wrote for that album, or did it
I
take
think that
you?
actually was the first song
Nice.
with Magic Miracle Mile. Like, and what's different too about this record is I got my original drummer to play on it, but I also had all these electronic beats, and I didn't tell him that I was going to be combining the two.
Oh
So,
wow.
like, real drums come in and out, and it's like it just made a weird
Yeah,
like dynamic thing happen because of that.
that's so cool. I want to see you perform that. And do you love performing that one too? And it's newer.
I Yeah, I like playing it on the piano
Yeah.
more. Like
Okay.
interludes, like hard to play live just because it would
Yeah.
require a lot more instrumentation. But
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Um, okay, some general questions about music. You're such an artist, and I love to like kind of like pick your brain, but kind of vulnerable question here. Like, what has been like the most challenging aspect of becoming an up and coming musician, and like, what do you do to overcome it? Truly.
I think like the challenging thing is there's so much music being released every day, and there's so many artists playing out. It's like, how do you stand out? You
Mm,
know, with
mhm.
like from all of them, how do you actually get noticed? How do you actually get people to listen to your music and listen to it enough? And like just yeah, I mean everything is like an uphill battle with this industry. Like the easiest thing about it is writing the songs, and then everything after that, like getting the song actually heard, this like it just becomes like it's hard.
I can understand it in a kind of a sense. I try not to even look at my podcasting. It's been such an incredible journey, but I hear you, and it's such a saturated community for music and just for
It's
anything. Social media too has changed so much, right? My
yeah.
gosh. But no, always keep at it, and I think people will gravitate towards you who really
Yeah.
wanna listen. But that's great. And then what is, like, your creative process for writing songs? You said you wrote a song in 10 minutes or you wrote songs in maybe a few days, like, do you have, like, any rituals or routines that inspire you to write your songs?
For me, it's like I only write when I feel inspired and I have like a
Mhm.
certain feeling inside of me that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write a song soon. And sometimes I
Oh,
feel it like brewing and it causes like a lot of tension in
oh,
me.
yeah,
Like
I know what
I
that
just
feels
feel
like.
it.
Mhm.
Um, and then, I write and those songs are always my best songs. Like the songs where I don't try, like Daughter, it just
It just kinda
ends up
came
being
out of you, right?
yeah, it's just all real and raw. Like there's no I'm not trying hard or anything. It's just like that's it.
Yeah. Oh, it kinda makes sense too. Oh, it's so interesting how that works. Um, do you ever dream this is way off topic, well, not off topic, but I was thinking, like, do you ever have dreams of lyrics or dreams of songs and then, like, you wake up and, like, write it in a notebook really quick? Does that ever
Yeah,
happen?
that's definitely happened to me a lot.
Yeah. Are you just some epiphany, you know? That's really
Mhm.
cool. Um, and as you continue to grow as an artist, because right now I think your lyrics are just super powerful. And again, you have a platform and you're advocating for the LGBT community, and you have songs that are just written for yourself, and you express that. Like, but how do you envision your music evolving? Maybe in the future, what would you like it to be?
Yeah, I would definitely like some like production evolutions, just getting more professional and then also
Yeah.
just like exploring different genres. Like there's so many things I hear and I'm like, I want to do that.
Uh
So
huh. Oh, for
I
sure.
make
You have a
time and
voice.
space for it.
You could do anything. I really think you could do it. Now, would you do opera? Okay.
No, probably not.
Me neither. Oh, that's funny. But Ryan, do you have any memorable experiences with audiences or fans that have like touched you personally? If you want to share one, that'd be great. It's up to you.
Yeah. Um I when we went to Texas, I've played an acoustic show before South by Southwest and this little trans boy came with like the trans flag as a cape. He was young
Oh,
and
wow.
he was so excited and I asked out in the audience, does anyone know the words to Daughter? And he did and I invited him to come up on stage with me
Oh my
and
God.
we sang together. And now every time I go to Austin, like I have a meal with their family and talk
That's
to him and
cool.
just like build up his confidence because like it is hard to be a trans kid right now, especially in
In
Texas.
Texas. Oh my God.
So it's things like that, where people like I get to connect with this family and they connect with me and um he's just always so stoked and like before the last time he went to the record store and bought my record to bring to dinner so that I could sign it for him and that sort of thing. It's just like it makes me feel it makes me feel like I'm doing something that matters.
Oh my gosh. And if you're touching and like inspiring kids at that young of an age, oh my gosh, that's just everything, truly. And going back like a couple minutes ago, you did mention like you just want to help kids get through the year. Oh, that
Mm,
goes back to that. That's really, really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
I guess that kind of goes into the next question. Like, how does your how does like performing live differ from like a recording studio? Do you like the energy of the audience? Is it different?
It's definitely different. I think I actually perform better live than I do in a studio just because the energy of the audience like really fuels me and I
Yeah,
depend on it a lot.
that makes sense. That's really cool. Um, and then do you like how do you, for you, I know you can have ups and downs with your music career, but how do you stay motivated and focused on your musical goals, especially during challenging times?
Um, I think I don't know, it's just like it's really just the people, like it's the fans. It's like people sharing my music and sharing to me like how a song impacted them. Like that's what makes me want to keep writing
Yeah.
and doing more. And like I'll always be writing songs, but
Right. Mhm.
releasing them is like what's could be hard and challenging. And the fact that people want to listen like
Mm.
this many years later, like that's really dope, and I'm really grateful for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's really beautiful. For kind of a fun question, and then if we have like about 5 minutes, and then we'll just get into really random, lighthearted, fun questions. But
Cool.
if you could tour with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, any artist that's talented and bigger than me. And then I was thinking like I would love to open for like Alkaline Trio or the Hold Steady, bands like that.
Ooh, oh, that'd
Just
be
putting that out
fabulous.
in the universe.
Oh my gosh, did you? I'll do that for you too. Have you ever?
Like,
I could see you doing. God, is the Vans Warp Tour still a thing? I feel like that's such like your
no, it
vibe.
closed down. I played the
You,
Warp Tour 2 times,
you
2 shows.
did, and I missed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was the first openly trans artist to ever play Warp Tour. So
no
yeah,
kidding. How
yeah,
my God, that gives me chills. That is so cool. My friends used to go to the Warp Tour. I never got to go. I was just, I don't know why. Oh, good for you.
yeah.
Um, And then really quickly, when you got to speak with Admiral Rachel Levin about gender affirming care and the trans health at the White House, was that like was that like a bucket list thing? Did that come to you? Would love to learn about that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, just I mean, like getting to be at the White House, getting to talk to Admiral Levine, it was just it feels still so surreal at this point.
Mm.
Like I literally got to like when I went to the White House and I got to meet with some of the staff there that are in charge of LGBTQ communications. I was sitting in the same room that Martin Luther King Jr. was in,
God,
and it's just like I get to be here in this energy, and it just feels so incredible.
oh my gosh. Were you really nervous? Was it a natural kind of conversation too that you had? Like, did you feel a lot of pressure or was it pretty exciting?
I felt nervous, like I didn't want to
Mhm.
mess up. I wanted to make sure I was speaking like very professionally and all
Sure.
of that. So that's that sort of thing. Like I wanted to make sure that like I knew that like this conversation at this point is like representing my community. So I want to make sure the representation is as good as possible so that people hear us.
That's true. Is there any way I was trying to find out. I don't know if I is there a way to view that
Wait,
conversation?
that's on YouTube.
It's on
Just
YouTube?
like yeah, Ryan Cassata and Rachel Levine, you should find it.
Okay, perfect. I will do that. Um, and then I just love your music career. Are you working on any new music right now?
Yeah, I'm working on a bunch. I'm hoping to release an EP this year.
Ooh. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear that. EPs are so cool and they're such a story. Oh, I can't wait to hear that. Very
Thank
fun. And
thank
then
you.
Ryan, these are questions that are not related to music, but at every single podcast guest, I ask these same questions. I just feel like we're more similar than we think. And
Mhm.
it's fun to just have lighthearted, not too serious questions and don't think too hard on it. So I see you highlighting. Are you ready? Yeah.
Yeah,
Favorite
yeah, yeah.
way to unwind and relax when you're not working?
Currently right now is I like to play Pac-Man on the arcade machine.
Yes. Okay. If we hang out, I'm a huge Dave and Buster's fan. Do you like
Oh,
Dave and
really?
Buster's? Oh my
Yeah.
God, the games. Pac-Man, oh my god, I play it nonstop. We'll have to go and have a
Hell yeah,
competition.
I would love to.
Um, do you have the Nintendo Switch, by the way?
No, I wanted to get one, but
Okay. We love to play, like, Mario Party, Mario
oh,
Kart.
cool.
I have PS5 too. I like to game a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, go-to comfort food or guilty pleasure snack?
Popcorn for sure. It's my favorite
Popcorn.
snack.
That's mine too.
Oh my god.
You know what's funny? I just texted my friend Haley. I don't know why we were talking about it, but I told her today, I swear to God,
Mm.
that my dad used to cook me popcorn for breakfast before school because that's all I would eat was popcorn.
Oh my god.
I know.
Cute.
Okay, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
I would go back to Italy. So far I've only been once, but the food is just better than anything else ever.
Dude, same here. We went to Italy 2 years ago, Venice, Florence, and Rome for, like,
Nice.
12 days, and, yeah, the food was great. The prices were actually really cheap. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe the exchange rate, but oh my god. What city did you go to?
We went to Venice, Rome, and then a lot in the Puglia region.
Oh, wow. Did you
Yeah.
sing there, or was it just kind of for vacation pleasure?
We went for our honeymoon. Yeah.
Oh, your honeymoon. Oh, yeah, congrats on your wedding and your husband. So beautiful. That's such a
Thank
great spot.
Yeah,
Um,
it was beautiful.
We went in August. It was really hot, but I would do it again for sure.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, do you have a skill or hobby that might surprise people?
Mm, I don't know, honestly.
I don't have any either, to be honest. I could do, like, a weird
Yeah.
thing with my tongue, but that's about it. Um, do you have any pets? I know you had a dog, rest in peace, your little baby, but do you have any current pets right now?
Yeah, we just actually got a new dog, Alio, and
Oh,
he
yeah,
super, super
congrats.
thank you.
Is it fun and
Yeah,
overall?
it's so fun, he's so cute, he's so chaotic. So
Um, wait, was he at the trading post? Because there was a whole
yeah,
bunch of dogs. They were barking and cheering you on.
yeah, there's a lot of dogs there that
It was
day.
so great.
He's, like, currently slamming himself into the door to try to get in here. He's so
Oh my
crazy.
god. Oh, yeah, really quickly, if you see this thing, it's blocking the
Uh-huh.
door. 2 cats, and they will jump like crazy in
Oh my
here.
god.
Almost done. Sorry, we're a little over. Is that okay? There's like 5
I'll give
more
it
left.
over.
Okay. Do you have a favorite book or movie that's had, like, a profound impact on your life?
Hmm.
I don't have personally a
Good.
favorite movie. Do
I
you?
think I mean, out of things I've read recently, it's like a comic series, uh,
Ooh.
March, and it's John Lewis's Congressman John Lewis.
Oh my god,
His
yes.
story with, MLK and, um, I really when I read
Wow.
when I read that, that really, like I read that, like, at the beginning of grad school in, like, a week. I read all 3 of them,
Kidding.
and then it's called March by John Lewis.
Okay, I'll look that up later. Thank you. I would love to check that
Yeah, yeah.
out.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. Um, do you have a personal goal or dream that you haven't yet achieved? It could be with work or personal life.
I think just, like, playing bigger shows, getting to connect with more people, and just getting to play music the rest of my life would be
Yeah,
great.
that would
Yeah.
be great. You at 9 years old, like Willie Nelson. Like, dude, Willie Nelson's an inspiration, I
I
feel.
know,
Dude,
right?
that's my grandpa's favorite artist is Willie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be and why?
um, I think I would like to sit down with some of the beat poets and writers like Jack Kerouac and
Mm.
Allen Ginsberg.
That's such a good answer. That's one of the first answers I've heard. That's really a beautiful one. Yeah. How interesting, to pick their brains. And what are you passionate about outside of work? I feel like you're such an advocate. I don't know if that's work too, but yeah, something you're
Yeah, I
passionate
mean,
about.
I bring everything into it, but I'm definitely just like very, very anti-war, so I could get really passionate in conversations about that, and also like feminism. Like lately, I've just been like, "You're treating women bad." Like
Oh,
I'm
tell me
like,
about it. I
I'm
love it.
like I'm over it.
I
Like if
know it.
anyone's doing that in front of me, I'm just like, I'm calling you out right now. Like I literally cannot just sit
Good for
here.
you. I know. It's just crazy. I feel like we could talk for like 3 hours, huh? Oh,
I
we
don't
could
know.
really go dive deep into things next time. Um, and then, yeah, what are some things that just make you happy and fulfilled in life?
Um, yeah, I mean, really being with my husband and just getting to live this like little magical life we have together. It's really beautiful, and like
Yeah,
family is really important to me. So it's
I
been
love
great.
that too. Family, a chosen family, which I'm
Mhm.
learning about more because I'm part of the community. I actually just came out as bi like almost a year ago, and it's been really
Oh,
fulfilling, and
cool.
I've been in marriage for, like, 5 years, but it's something,
Mhm.
like, openly I don't know, I'm always trying to, like, figure myself out and to have, like, supportive family makes all the difference. Oh my
It
god.
does.
Um, and then lastly, do you have any advice for any up and coming musicians? What would you give them if they have no idea what the hell they're gonna start? Like, what would you tell them?
Practice a lot, listen to a lot of different music, step outside your comfort zone, listen to, like,
Good.
artists from a long time ago. Um,
Ooh, that's smart.
yeah, and I think just, like, for musicians in general, appreciating music is important. Understanding, like, where contemporary music, the roots of it, and a book that helped me a lot with that is Blues People by
Mm.
Amiri Bakara, and I think it's important to know. I think it's important.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And where can people find you? Like,
Oh, you
online?
can find me on ryancassata.com and then on all the streaming platforms and all the social media, besides, like, Snapchat, I don't do.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining my little podcast episode. It
Thank
meant
you so
everything.
much.
You're welcome, and I can't wait to see your music coming out in the EP.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Alright, bye.
Alright, bye.